Right on, writers. Welcome, first time viewers, to the Books by Adrian author platform. This is Chronicles, and I am your host, Adrian Santiago. Hello, welcome. Come on in. This one is a little weird. We're starting late. I don't have too much planned for it. I'm kind of winging it. I'm sick. Like, I've been fighting off a cold for a couple of days now. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's going to be kind of a rough one. But this is the show where I typically talk about myself as a writer, or my process, or things that inspire my process. And so today I thought that like a fun little play on that would be to kind of go through and number one, rank the seasons of Dexter that I love, or rather to rank all the seasons. Because we recently had a resurgence of Dexter, and and it's kind of interesting, and I want to talk about it. And then I figure I will jump from thing I love to thing I love, depending on if anybody's in the chat. They can throw up topics to talk about and stuff like that, and we'll just kind of wing it. So like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm seriously winging it today, guys. So I also have to be careful because I have a lot of stuff set up in StreamYard right now that would be a spoiler for Livestream Sunday season 4. We are 2 weeks out, so it doesn't start next Sunday. It starts the Sunday after that. So I'm hyped. I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a really great season. I think it's going to be a very transformative season for this channel. I talk a lot about how large of an audience one particular guest in the lineup has, and I know that's not the only important thing, but this person's is significant enough that it's worth noting. You know what I mean? Like, it's worth being aware of. Like, I could very possibly have a huge audience in the chat that day. It could be a very kind of nerve-wracking show. So that's going to be a really fun one to see how it goes. But in addition to that, I have a lot of really great guests. We're opening up with Robert Jones, story detective. That is no small guest. I mean, this dude is amazing. His resume is just wow. You know, inking in Marvel Comics, then covers in Marvel Comics. Eventually, he was writing. He's been writing his own books. His channel is awesome. Gives great writing advice. Um, as people show up, I hope to ask them how my mic is and all that kind of stuff, because like I said, I'm kind of winging it today and things are a little messy. Let's see here. I want to make sure I have this thing. Yep. Okay. I apologize if you guys hear me sniffle. I'll try to mute anytime I have to like blow my nose or something gross. I apologize that I'm sick. I just didn't want to miss a Sunday with you guys, especially this one, because I I'm definitely doing something next Sunday. It'll be sort of like a live stream Sunday pregame kind of deal, where we're gonna check out some of the guests that I'm really excited about, and some of the guests that we know very little about. And we're gonna kind of go through their channels, or if they don't have channels, then go through their websites and social medias, and try to learn a little bit about them, and get excited, right, for season 4, which will start the following week after that. So make sure that you guys come back next week. Anybody watching this on the replay, today is January 23rd. I am talking about you guys coming back on January 30th. 23 plus 7. Where's my math? And That's going to be the sort of live stream pregame, right? That's going to be like the lead up to the season premiere. And then the season premiere is on February 6th. So be here for that. Story Detective, very exciting. I once again made a point this season of Livestream Sunday to try to balance my bigger audience guests with my smaller audience guests. So, I'm following Robert Jones with T.E. Butcher, and I'm just going to kind of keep trying to hand it off back and forth in that way so that everybody sort of benefits from the flow of traffic. Uh, the week after Hello Future Me is going to be the Brit Pack, so that's going to be a lot of fun. The week before Hello Future Me is Helen Garraway, which I'm very excited about. I cannot wait to talk to her about her writing. It's very exciting stuff. We're also doing BDSM erotic fiction on the third week of Livestream Sunday with Sarah Stewart. We're going to be doing a lot of really fun stuff this season, so it's going to be a hoot. Make sure you come out for that. If anybody needs to send me anything, that's my email right there on the screen. You can send me questions to answer on the channel. You can send me suggestions for videos. You can send me, anything. If you need to contact me, there it is. I'm also producing. Can't talk today, my brain. I'm also producing book trailers and channel trailers. If anyone needs one, if anyone is interested in purchasing one from me, that's my email. Reach out to me and we'll talk. I never talk about pricing on the channel because it honestly is going to differ for every single person depending on what you want, how much you want, and when you want it. Like that's going to play a big part in it. And with Livestream Sunday coming up, keep in mind I'll be busy. But the good news actually is on that front that this week, starting tomorrow, so I work overnight, my final shift tonight, and then I am off for an entire week, which actually means that I'm off for 9 days because I'll be off tomorrow and Tuesday is my regular days off. That's just like my Saturday and Sunday, right? That's my regular days off of the week. Then I have paid days off the 26th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 30th. So those are regular work days that are paid off. And then I have my regular Saturday and Sunday, which is Monday and Tuesday, the 31st and the 1st. So I have 9 days off coming up. And in those 9 days, I'm going to dedicate a buttload of time every single day to locking myself in this room. I am going to be producing videos. I am going to be editing the book. I have a deadline of March 1st for this edit of the book. So I am going to be heavily editing the book during that 9 days, every single day. What else? And besides making the videos, I'll be prepping for Livestream Sunday, which is going to be a big undertaking this season. Yeah, I feel like it's a big season. We're going to be trying a lot of new stuff. What's some of these stuff we're going to go over a lot of that next week in the build up to season 4. But hello, Miss Houston. Hello. Welcome. You're the first in. I didn't really hype up this episode or anything. I didn't tell anybody it was happening. I didn't know it was happening. I'm a little sick. You'll catch on the replays. I'm a little sick. I've been fighting off a cold for a couple of days now. I'm on the upswing, but I'm still a little boogery, so I apologize if you hear me sniffle or something. I'll try to always mute the mic. In fact, I feel a tickle in my throat. I don't want to cough on mic. So, we're talking about a lot of stuff today. Before we're getting into the real deal today, we're just oh, thank you. I hope I feel better soon too. I am feeling better. I was not well for a couple of days there, but I'm good now. Now it's just the remainder has to leave. You know what I mean? All of this has to just leave. That's almost gone. So Livestream Sunday is coming up in 2 weeks. Not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, we begin season 4 with Robert Jones, Story Detective. I am super psyched about that. It's going to be a crazy, awesome season, including Miss Houston, who you see in the chat now. If you are watching this on the replay, you will be on an episode as well. So I am very excited about that. And we are going to sort of do a hype up episode next Sunday in this spot at 4 p.m. We're going to talk about all the things coming to season 4, but in addition to the guest list, like what we can be excited for being different on the channel. So, like, for example, every episode used to just begin with the interview and then go into the topic in the middle and then the live chat Q&A at the end. We're going to kind of play with that this season and go straight into the topic at the very top of the show and sort of talk about that for a few minutes and have fun with that, and then transition from that into the interview of the guest. And we're also going to try to keep the live chat Q&A going throughout the episode, not just at the end. So we're going to try to be better about that as well. You can expect all the awesome animations that I always do. And if you're looking for a channel trailer or a book trailer, come to me. I got you. Just that's the email right there. I'm making those for people, and it's been fun. So if you want to spend a couple bucks on a really really nice trailer, hit it my way. Okay, so live stream Sunday season 4 starts in 2 weeks. The hype episode is next week. This week we're just kind of winging it and having a little fun and talking about fun stuff. So, Miss Houston, if you are still in the chat, I believe you are. Did you watch the show Dexter at all? Are you a Dexter fan? Yay or nay? Sound out. And oh, I just remembered that. Yeah. Here we go. StreamYard has background music now. I don't have to have dead airtime. All right. Excellent. You love Dexter. You watched the new series too. Very, very excited about that. I'm a really huge Dexter fan from way, way back. I mean, a really huge Dexter fan. The first 5 seasons, I know everybody says the first 4 seasons. The first 4 seasons are the masterpiece seasons, in my opinion, I think, for the most part. Season 5 is a little dip in quality from season 4, but I really, really love season 5. And then it kind of starts to deteriorate from there until it has the worst season ever at season 8. And it ended on a real like down note. And so I was happy to see it come back with the original showrunner for season 9, New Blood it was called. And I love seeing where Dexter is all these years later and getting like a more final conclusion to his end, whether you liked it or not. I for the most part really liked the final season, this new final season. So I was excited to talk about Dexter on this episode, and I want to rank the seasons, even though I kind of spoiled a little bit how I feel about most of them. Let's see here. How awesome for that background music. Just learned that. Yeah. I this is the first time using it. I got the I was in here poking around setting up for Livestream Sunday season 4. So I have to be careful not to click on the wrong thing right now because I could spoil like what's coming. But it's cool. They seem to be adding new things more often now on StreamYard. Like this setup right here with my solo camera not taking up the entire screen. That's new. That's very new. That's within the last couple of weeks, I think. I love the old series, but there's some seasons there that I was just like, I got to get through this. It was bad. It ended really bad, in my opinion, like really bad. But redemption in season 9, in my opinion. I'm gonna kind of go through them here. So let's see. I wonder if I should. Is the music too loud? That's one thing. I don't want it to like be distracting or overpower me. It should just be background stuff. So if it's too loud, please let me know because I don't have a good read on how loud it is from my end compared to my mic, And with me being sick, like I want you to be able to understand me. Let me see if there's something a little more chill. I think that's a little more chill. All right, so we're going to talk about Dexter here. I'm going to make some banners or something. All right. Thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you. All right, so here we go. I'm going to mute myself for a second. Sorry. You know what? I'm gonna turn off my camera too because this is gross. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Nice, nice. All right, so let's talk about Dexter. Dexter seasons ranked. I'm telling you, I'm winging this. Normally, I would have all this stuff done ahead of time, and I'm doing it on the fly here. So please bear with me, guys. I'm very, very sorry. The I want to talk about the next season of Livestream Sunday a lot, but that's next week. All right, so Dexter seasons ranked. There are 9 seasons now, and I thought it would be a good time to revisit them. So I'm going to start with the bottom of the barrel, number 9. I keep let me make a bet. All right, so in last place, number 9, we have the worst season of Dexter. I've already said it, and that's season 8. Season 8 of Dexter. And I'm glad that I'm doing this as a countdown from worst to best, because that way I can get all the bad out at the beginning, and then I have nothing but good things to say about the show for a long while. So, uh, bottom of the barrel, worst season. Can't think of a single great episode in the entire 8th season. Not a single great episode, and that's saying a lot for a show that at one point was the best show on television. Now, season 8 might have had like a moment here or there, usually maybe with Deb, but even the Deb and Dexter scenes weren't what they used to be in that final season, because once she found out his secret, and she didn't turn him in or kill him, then she just became like a nag for him. Like she was just picking on him all the time. Not picking on him, but just scolding him all the time. That's all she would do, is just scold him. And that's not fun. They had witty banter before. They had really complex relationship, and then it just became Deborah judging Dexter all the time. It was weird. So, which a topic for later in the episode, or maybe for a future episode, is how I would have ended Dexter. I have my own like head canon ending for it. All right, let's move on to, yeah. I know you can, because it's very clear. It's just it's a bad season, man, and it's sad. And the best parts of that season for me are Hannah coming back, because Hannah was one of the best things about season 7, I think, and it was good to see her back. But her ending with Harrison and Dexter and all of it, it didn't make sense. None of that made sense. All right, let's make a banner here for season up for number 8. In the number 8 spot, the second worst season of Dexter is, in my opinion, season 6. Season 6 of Dexter is the season with the Doomsday Killer. It's the season with Colin Hanks, who I love, and Edward James Olmos, who I love, and who both gave really great performances in the season. The twist reveal of their characters' truths was fumbled and dragged on for way too long. They should have revealed that to the audience no later than episode 3. They should reveal that to the audience very early on. They could have continued doing it. They didn't have to stop doing it. They just had to let us in on the secret. And once that twist happens early on in the season, then it would have been a better flow for the rest, when they're going up against Dexter, and we basically have Dexter and Harry versus Colin Hanks and Edward James Olmos. It would have made more sense. But season 6 is the most flawed, while still having a few great episodes. It really truly does have a few really great episodes in there, and there's ultimately very little to hold on to from the rest of the season. This is also where they introduced the terrible Deborah is in love with Dexter thing, that I never enjoyed any of that storyline at all. I thought it was stupid. It's not just that it's gross and disturbing. I know they're not blood relation, but they grew up as siblings. It's disturbing. But on top of that, it's just bad writing. Like it was just really bad writing. It came out of seemingly nowhere, and there were way more interesting avenues that they could have gone down in their relationship to get some really great drama and some really complex emotions out. They didn't have to go the incest route. It was just weird that they, I don't know, fucking Scott Buck, man. So that's season 6. Let's see what Miss Houston is saying. Okay, so I like learning about how the code came from Vogel. I did not like that. I understand a lot of people enjoy that, and in concept, it's very very interesting, but something that foundational to the essence of Dexter should have been at least planted and set up long ago. Somewhere in season 1, even if they didn't make a big deal out of it, even if they didn't know where they were going with it, even if most people didn't catch it, there should have been something that we could have gone back to after season 8 and gone back to season 1. Oh, look right here, this whole little mystery about who was helping Harry develop the code. That they never came back to that, but oh, that's where that came from. And it would at least have roots. But again, like the Deborah in love with Dexter thing, it came out of nowhere. It honestly did. The whole Evelyn Vogel thing came out of nowhere. It was shoehorned in. From a writing stand, it was bad writing compared to the things that they had done in the past. For example, in season 2, when Dexter learns that Harry killed himself after knowing what he had created, that's not something that he knew in season 1, but it's something that you could go back and see the breadcrumbs of in season 1, where like Harry had this whole like sort of dark side to him as well. Every time that he was teaching Dexter about how to get away with killing, there was always this very ominous, tone to the whole scene, and it spoke to a sort of, not a dark passenger. I'm not suggesting Harry was a killer or anything like that, but just a darkness in him. He was tapping into something there, and so there's all these like little threads that you can follow to a psychiatrist Vogel. You know what I mean? Like and yeah, he's a detective, he's a cop, but he's not a FBI serial killer expert. So he needed something like that. They could have planted it, but they didn't. All right. How Dexter's father was trying to figure out how to help his son. I love all that stuff. It makes sense. It makes sense that he would go to Vogel. It makes sense they could have planted something there. They didn't. Season 6 didn't like learning that Deborah was in love with Dexter. Why? Why didn't I like it? You wanted the foreshadowing of the code for yeah. I more liked it for the fact that the father was seeking. Yeah, and like again in concept, the Vogel thing is really cool, and they could have done it really well, and I would have liked to have seen them do it really well. And even if they hadn't set it up, I feel like there was a way to do it where she doesn't steal credit for the code. It almost felt like she was ultimately taking credit for the code, and her character in general, I wasn't vibing with. Like she didn't speak believably. She didn't sound like Evelyn Vogel to me. You know what I mean? Like it just, I didn't believe her. I had the same problem with Lumen in season 5, and we'll talk about that a little later, where that season could have been my second most favorite season of Dexter ever had the casting of Lumen been different. I really like Julia Stiles. I've seen her do very good work. I just feel she was completely miscast in that particular role. I never bought the darkness in her. We'll talk about that later. I keep getting ahead of myself. I was asking, why did the creators decide? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why do that? It's like, what are they getting thematically out of that? Like, what exactly are they trying to say about her character? Like, what even is that? Like, it was awful. And she had the worst therapist, by the way. That that whole season, every scene that she had with a therapist, that therapist was giving the worst advice I've ever seen a therapist give. Maybe not more than the guy in season 1, I think, that was killing people, but or telling people to kill themselves. All right, so let's go on to the next one. So we've done number 9, the worst season, number 8, the second worst season. Let's do number 7. Let me write it out here. 7 appropriately is season 7. I really like season 7. I think it's underrated. I think there's a lot of really good stuff to hold on to in this season, which is saying a lot. It's a Scott Buck season, and I am not a fan of his work. But he did a lot of good. Well, he and his writers' room did a lot of good work in this season. The Hannah stuff was all really good. The Isaac stuff, the Russian mafia guy who was out for revenge for the murder of his lover, like that stuff was just top drawer stuff. He was a Terminator, and I really love that in the end he wasn't necessarily the big bad of the season, though he might have started that way. In the end, he ended up being and what's it called? Not an equal, but yeah, like a colleague, a peer of Dexter's. Two killers out in the world that see each other, respect each other, had a problem with each other, squashed it, worked together, and ultimately parted as friends. That's never really happened in Dexter before. The closest is Lumen. It's not exactly the same thing there. That's a whole different dynamic, right? But yeah, I really like season 7. There's a lot of really great stuff. I love I don't know why I love Hannah McKay. I honestly can't like defend it. It's probably because I'm a big fan of the actress. But yeah, Hannah McKay is awesome, and I kind of wish she had been introduced sooner and lasted longer. Made their relationship more believable and more impactful. Excuse me. Yeah, Hannah was great. She was a great character. Her performance was really good. She added a lot to the dynamic of the cast and of the show. She was a real foil for Deb. It was all good stuff. I really liked it. They fumbled a little bit at the end with how they handled the whole Deborah Hannah thing, but God, got this tickle in my throat. Won't leave me alone. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Hannah was cool. I liked it. Season 7 is better than it gets credit for. Uh, Underrated. Not one of the best seasons of Dexter. It's down here in 7 of 9, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's not a bad one. It's a good one. All right. Season. Let's see here. Number 6. Let me delete some of these old ones. Make some room here. All right. Season. Actually, I can't write it that way. I have to write it this way. Dexter. All right. So number 6 on my list, from worst to best. Number 6 is Dexter New Blood, or Dexter Season 9, if you prefer. Dexter New Blood. A very good season of Dexter. I have a few quibbles with it, but it had so much damage control to do after the disaster that was season 8, that it deserves extra credit for being as good as it is. It has no business being as good as it is. Dexter New Blood. It had so much swimming upstream to do, to be that good. So I respect the hell out of Dexter New Blood. The villain was very interesting. Great performance by the actor. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but he's a big name. People know him. People love him. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. I'll wrap it up fast. Okay, so I'll wrap it up fast. I'll wrap it up fast. The Dexter New Blood is great. I won't spoil how it ends. It's a great ending for Dexter, in my opinion. It could have been better. but it could have been a lot worse. And I think that it did a lot to redeem Dexter. All right. Uh, for Miss Houston, my spoiler-free thought on the season is that I overall really, really liked it, and I think that it has no business being as good as it is. It had a lot of hard work to do to be this good. So, two thumbs up for Dexter New Blood. And that's all I'll say about that. I won't spoil the season. Okay, so number 5. Now, from here forward, I love every one of these seasons. I have a hard time ranking them. This part was really really difficult, but I think I can stick to this. So I'm gonna put up number 5 here. All right. So appropriately again, 7 was 7, 5 is 5. Season 5. Now, as I said earlier, I probably would have put this season side by side with season 4. Ultimately, I think we can all we know season 4 is the top season. Like that's not a big reveal here. Okay, like we all know it. I would have put this at number 2. Ultimately, I would have, except for Lumen. Lumen drags this season down. Not her story. Her story is fantastic and fascinating and thrilling. Her performance. Her performance is a dead stop for me on this whole season. I never bought her darkness. I never bought her hunger to kill those who wronged her. I never bought her big breakdown scenes, or just screaming at the top of your lungs is not acting like you're breaking. You know what I mean? Like not everybody breaks like that, and it doesn't. It's weird, man. Like her, I feel again. I really really like that actress. I've seen her do some really great work in the past. She's done some great movies. She's not a bad actress by any stretch of the imagination, and the writing for her was pretty decent. So I honestly don't know what happened. She's surrounded by great actors. Typically when you see even lesser actors join a cast with masters of the craft, they tend to become elevated by just being around them. They learn by doing, and they react to what they're doing, and it helps their performance, and they turn in something special, and that just didn't happen here. And so yeah, I have a real problem with it. Oh, one thing I wanted to say, Susan, about Dexter New Blood was well, I don't know how much of it you've seen, so never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Okay. So I love this season. It's a great season. I consider it a sister to season 4. And much like Dexter New Blood, it had some heavy lifting to do. Season 4 was incredible, and it ended in such a way that left everybody so heartbroken that we needed some catharsis and some mourning and some help. When so it had some hard work to do at the beginning of the season. Like we have to kind of, I give it a pass on all that stuff. Ultimately, my biggest problem with it was her choices with the character, with Lumen. I never, I just never gelled with her. Uh, I love Lila. I love that character. I love Hannah. I love that character. I bought the darkness in those women on this show, so it's not that either. You know what I mean? It really does just come down to Julia Stiles. I wonder if, and I don't I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily have a better person to cast in the role. Although I'm sure a young Charlize Theron could have done something incredible with that role. But that's dreaming big. But I don't know. They got John Lithgow the season before. Maybe it's not dreaming big. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like there's actresses out there that would have really sold that darkness for me, man. All right, so that's season 5. One of the best seasons of Dexter by far. when the only thing I can quibble about is the casting of one character, and the rest I'm really really into. Even Joey Quinn was more interesting this season. So let's see. I'm trying to remember how I felt about Lumen. I think it was odd only because I see Styles as a sweet actress. That's probably part of it. Maybe not, because I'm good at letting go of actors past roles to accept their new ones. You know what I mean? Like if you're a good enough actor to make me believe the new role, it doesn't matter who you played before. If you look at Elijah Wood in Sin City, where he plays a cannibal serial killer who doesn't speak and is just the creepiest thing in the world, and he sells it. Sweet little Elijah Wood sells the hell out of that role. So I don't know if it's that, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like either she or her directors, somebody somewhere gave her some bad advice. Maybe I don't know what it is, but there's just something about her performance with that character that just doesn't gel. But I like the character of Lumen. Maybe if the actress who played Hannah had played Lumen, it might have been different. I agree. I agree. But then we might not have gotten Hannah, and I don't like that either. But but yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like maybe an actress with, not saying that Julia Stiles doesn't have range, but maybe an actress with a different range who could have, you needed somebody who had been so damaged and affected by what was done to her that she becomes a creature of vengeance. That's a tall order. That's a big performance. You know what I mean? All right. Number 4, from 9 to 1. Number 4 is season 3. This is the season with Miguel Prado and the Skinner. Miguel Prado being the main antagonist of the season, the Skinner being this sort of like B villain that was being sold as the A villain, but it was kind of a switcheroo. Uh, I love season 3. I consider it a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite seasons. Jimmy Smits kills every scene he's in. His death scene haunts me to this day when Dexter has him on the table and chokes him out like that with that very thin wire, and he's screaming. Oh my god! The rooftop scene where Jimmy Smits is like going around Dexter like a shark circling his prey, and Dexter is so still and like not even phased by this giant man who's screaming in his face, and Dexter's just like, man. It has one of the best openings, that scene when Jimmy Smits is undoing his shirt so he can show the blood stain. And he says to Dexter, "You think this is funny?" And Dexter's like, "No, they told me that stain would come out." It's just one of the funniest fucking beginnings to one of the most intense scenes in the show. I love season 3. Let's see here. Not number 1 because the Skinner was a little lame. The Skinner was a little lame. He went out like a chump. I don't know. Whatever. He was a means to an end in that season. That's the only reason the season isn't higher is the Skinner. Like, all right, whatever. All right, we're getting close to the end here, and then we'll see where the episode goes after that. Number 3 in my Dexter ranking is season 1. This was hard. It's hard not to put season 1 at number 1. It started it all. It's amazing. It's an incredible season. The reveal of the brother was expertly handled better than in the source material, the novel source material. Honestly, the Dexter books, the first one is the best one, and it's okay. It's not a great book. It's okay. They get worse and worse from there. The second book, third, they're all just. Ugh. I read them all, and I wish I hadn't. I kept wanting each one to be better, and it never was. It was always worse. So book 1, if you just want to read one, it's good, and but the brother reveal was done even better in the show, really. And it partly comes from having that actor playing Rudy slash Brian Moser, the ice truck killer. It was really it all came down to his look and his persona and everything. Like the brother thing really killed it. Okay, season one. Ice Truck Killer is iconic. The Dexter origin story is told in the twist build up. All season. It's this is how you do a twist that season six fumbled. You know what I mean? Like this is how you do a season long twist that makes all the puzzle pieces fit. The painted fingernails, right? Like it all comes together when he says "Biney." You know what I mean? Like it's just it's so good. It's so good. I fucking love season one. It's so good. Wouldn't have moved on without it being good. Yeah, yeah. Season one was just it was just objectively good, right? It was just so good, and there are things that are a little cheesy about it, but Dexter has always had a little bit of a cheese factor. It maintains cheese throughout the series, but it was a little more prevalent in season one, and they were able to rein that in. They were able to turn up the things that were really working, and it's a great season. I love season one. It started it all. Without it, we wouldn't have everything that we have in the Dexterverse. All right, so you're probably trying to figure out if we know that number one is season four, because of course we know that number one is season four. Then which season has he not mentioned yet? What is his second favorite season? I don't know if this is controversial. I don't know if anyone agrees, but in my opinion, season two is the second best season of Dexter. Season two is the closest thing to season four in terms of masterpiece. The rivalry with Dokes coming to a head. The reveal of his dumping grounds, his the bodies, the bags upon bags upon bags upon bags upon bags of body parts at the bottom of the ocean that Dexter is responsible for. The Bay Harbor Butcher becoming a name that people say in Miami that they still talk about to this day. The investigation with Lundy, Lila being this devil on his shoulder, tempting Dexter, and when you ask anyone who is the big bad of season two, most people are like, "Oh, what is it, Lila?" No, it's Dexter. The entire department is hunting the Bay Harbor Butcher. Dokes is hunting the Bay Harbor Butcher. Dexter is the villain of season two. It's almost what they should have done for, like, they should have saved it, right, for the finale. Like it should have been like the final season where he's being the one hunted. But no, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about season two. It's fantastic. It's perfect. Lila, so toxic and sexy and alluring and just disrupts everything around it. Pardon my tits, like everything about it. It's so good. It's such a great season. It's not number one because it doesn't have John Lithgow playing the Trinity Killer in it. That's really the only thing missing from making this season the best season of Dexter. I love season two. Dexter as the main villain is fantastic. Having just murdered his brother, he's dealing with that sort of like PTSD in the first couple episodes, and the whole thing with him like pretending to be a heroin addict in order to, that's his new cover for his Dark Passenger. And it's just such good writing. Season two is a masterpiece. We really loved Doak's role in the season, says Miss Houston. Yes, he grew so much also from season one, and I miss him. It's so sad that he had to go so early. It would have been really interesting if he had made it out of that cabin, right? But he and Dexter had been through something and had an understanding now, and like, yeah, we're, because Dokes had a little vigilante in him too. In season, I think it was in season one, he spots a dude that he recognizes from the war, and he just goes after him and kills him in broad daylight, like basically in front of Batista. he's got a little of that in him, that kind of like thirst for a little extra justice, you know what I mean? So it would have been really, really interesting if he had stayed a bit longer in the season, if he and Dexter were now people who knew one another very, very intimately that way. You know what I mean? Like that would have been a very interesting dynamic. But uh, again, I wouldn't change anything about this season. The fact that Lila's the one that kills Dokes and Dokes ends up, framed as the Bay Harbor Butcher for years to come. And LaGuardia's whole struggle with that. And oh my God, it's so good. Just so good. Love season two. Love it. Season two is, if season four didn't exist, it would have been the best. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the number one best season of Dexter, which is of course season four. John Lithgow, the Trinity Killer, who actually kills in four, not in threes. His backstory with why he kills and the way that he kills, and recreating the deaths of his sister, mother, father, and ultimately when we find out the fourth victim being the first victim is the child, that he preserves his innocence in concrete. Like John Lithgow, who we all knew and loved from Third Rock from the Sun, the lovable alien father figure. Incredible, right? Like to see him in this role, to have him transform into a monster from our nightmares. It's very much akin to Bryan Cranston going from Malcolm in the Middle, right, to Breaking Bad. But the difference there was that we gradually saw Walter White's transformation. Whereas when we meet John Lithgow in this season, he's already murdering a woman in a bathtub. Like he's in it, man. Like he's been doing it for 30 years. Lundy's been after him. The return of Lundy in season four was fantastic. The death of Lundy, Deborah's struggle with it. One of my other favorite scenes, if we're talking about like great scenes of the series, one was that rooftop scene with Miguel Prado. The other one for me is when Deborah brings Dexter to the spot where she and Lundy were shot and where Lundy died, and she's standing there looking at the blood stain on the floor, and she just breaks down crying and talking about how she's broken, and we all know that this is happening because of Dexter, so we're just like, oh my God, that scene is incredible. Her performance. That's when Deborah. I always loved Deborah from season one. But that's when I was like, oh, this actress is something special, man. This actress is something else. Jennifer Carpenter, big ups to Jennifer Carpenter, because she and Michael C. Hall carried this show on their shoulders for a couple seasons toward the end there, where like again, like 6, 7, and 8. As much as I love season 7, 6, 7, and 8 was all on the shoulders of their performance only, really. Like they were carrying that show. I remember Lithgow from Shrek too. Who was he in Shrek? I never, I don't always get into like the credits of the voice actors for the movies, and Shrek is one that I watched a long time ago when I was younger, and I don't revisit very often. So I'm not sure which one he is in Shrek. Is he Farquaad? Is John Lithgow Farquaad? I'm starting to think that he's Farquaad. Okay, so do I even have to explain anything else about season four? I mean, it was I got it right, Farquaad. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it in my head. I can tell it's him. Thanks for sticking around with me for this, Susan. This is great because apparently nobody else is here, but that's okay. I'll just shout into the ether and you'll pick it up. Yeah, man, best season of Dexter is season four, hands down. I mean, come on, the reveal at the end of the finale, after he has taken care of the big bad of the season and we think that everything is fine, and then it's just so not. It's not only is it not fine, but it's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course you agree with my number one. Everyone does. It's objectively the best season of Dexter, and when it was the best season of any television show ever. Breaking Bad wasn't really a thing yet. Like this was the best season of television at the time. Nothing could touch it. Nothing could touch it. I was the biggest fan of this show at the time. Man, I actually have a very vivid memory. I was young. I lived in a townhouse with two other dudes, roommates, and one of them is a very good friend of mine. We're still best friends to this day. Tom Kenlin, shout out Tom. He and I were watching Dexter at the time, and we had friends over to watch episode 9 of season 4, which is called Hungry Man, which is the one where Dexter goes to the Trinity Killer's house for Thanksgiving, and that is by far one of the most intense scenes of television that I have ever witnessed. And it's me and Tom and two other people. I want to say it was two girls, but it might have been a dude and a girl. I can't remember who the friends were. Oh, one of them was the girl dating Tom at the time. And the other one, I believe, was my friend and partner, Adrian Guadalupe. I believe it was him that was there at the time. I could be wrong about that. But we were watching Hungry Man, and that scene is going on at Thanksgiving where the scene is just it's a rubber band that they're just stretching the tension of, and they just keep stretching it and stretching it. Trinity broke, his son's fingers because his son had broken his car, and then like he's asking people what they're thankful for at Thanksgiving, and everybody's giving these bullshit answers that don't actually mean anything to them. And then Trinity is like, nobody's thankful for me. And then Jonah's like, I'm not thankful for you. Like, and then it's like, oh, it just snaps and everything goes to shit. And Jonah's throwing an urn and smashing mirrors, and Arthur is choking his son in front of his wife and daughter and Dexter. And Dexter takes off his. There's that moment where he's taking off his belt as he's walking up behind Arthur. And I just remember, like, my heart was going to beat out of my chest. And he puts the belt around his neck, get the fuck off him, and drags him through the house into the kitchen, closes the door, grabs a knife. And you're just like, what the fuck? What are you doing? People are watching. People are here. You can't do this here. And it's insane. It's the most insane scene. And I just remember, as soon as that scene ended, it ends with, like, a smash cut to Dexter in his car talking to Harry, thankful to be out of that fucking house. And he's driving like a madman. And we're still like, and then when that scene cut, we were like, pause. We were smokers at the time, like cigarette smokers. Unfortunately, kids don't smoke cigarettes. They suck. They're awful. But I was a cigarette smoker at the time, and we all went outside to smoke our cigarettes and just talk about like what the fuck was that? Amazing. Season 4 of Dexter is must see television, and because it's must see television, and because it's preceded by the other three best seasons of Dexter, seasons 1, 2, and 3 are all the other three best seasons of Dexter. Dexter is worth watching season 1 through 4. Absolutely, everyone should watch Dexter seasons 1 through 4. If you cannot deal with the death of Rita, watch season 5, finish season 5. But when season 5 ends, I, for the most part, was recommending stopping. Don't watch season 6, 7, or 8. Just don't do it. Just stop at 5. But now with Dexter New Blood, I changed that. Get through 6, 7, and 8. You gotta, because you have 9 to look forward to. All right. That's my ranking of the 9 episodes of Dexter. It took longer to do that than I thought it would. So we've filled out a good hour here. It's almost 5:30. Miss Houston, thank you very, very much for joining me. It was very nice to have you and to talk to you, to have somebody to talk to. For yeah, watch it all. Yeah, watch it all. Just watch it all. You don't have to stop at 5 anymore. You can watch it all. In the future, we might talk about how I would have ended Dexter. It's a whole other conversation. Yeah, you can't just skip to the final season. No, you do have to stick through it. If you're going to watch the final season, you have to watch the bad ones too. You just got to get through it. It's funny because my wife, before meeting me, she just had a hole in her pop culture knowledge when it came to movies and television. She just didn't watch movies and television, and I love stories. in all mediums, including movies and television. So I got her into watching shows, watching movies. Now, she doesn't rewatch stuff. She doesn't see the point in watching a movie again, even years later. Like, she's seen it. Why would she watch it again? I rewatch stuff over and over and over. So anyway, I introduced her to Dexter. We watched seasons 1 through 5, and then she was like, "Is there more?" And I said, "Yes, but it's all terrible. Let's just stop here." And we did. She stopped at 5. She hasn't seen 6, 7, or 8. And then 9 came along, and I watched it, and it's good. And now I'm like, "Babe, you're gonna have to watch some Dexter soon." And it's gonna be weird because you don't like rewatching stuff, so we're just gonna dive into season 6. You're like 9 years later. Dive into season 6 and explore that together. It's gonna be ridiculous. She says she's up for it. Will she watch them now? She says she's up for it. We just happen to have a long list of stuff that right now we're watching Boardwalk Empire. It's a show that I loved but never finished, and she has never seen. So we started from the beginning. We are currently in season 2, about halfway through season 2, and it's such a good show. I love it. And then when Boardwalk Empire is done, we're either switching to Witcher season 2 or Ozark. We might do Witcher season 2 because Ozark is the final season, but it's a 2-part final season, and they've only uploaded part 1, so we have a part 2 to wait for. So we might wait for part 2 before we dive into season 4 as a whole. So we're probably doing The Witcher after Boardwalk Empire, and then after that, we're probably doing Dexter. So that's what we'll do. We have so many things we want to watch, and that's why we haven't finished Dexter yet. Yeah, it's just, and that's the thing is that somebody asked me the other day if I'm watching Boba Fett, and I told them I saw the first episode, I was bored, so I didn't watch any more after that. And he's like, "Oh, but it's really good, and they're doing something really interesting with it." And I'm like, "That's great," but I was ambivalent about the first episode. Like, there's so much good stuff to watch. There's so much good stuff out there. Why would I waste my time on watching something that I'm just like kind of meh about? All the coolest, Boba Fett stories have already been told in The Mandalorian. Like, what? And I've never been emotionally attached to Boba Fett. It's another thing. Like, I don't find him that interesting. But I love Mando. I love The Mandalorian. It's a great show. I'm gonna keep watching that. I'll be there premiere, but no, I'm not gonna watch stuff that I'm not crazy about. I didn't even start the second episode. Didn't even start it. I think I fell asleep a little bit in the middle of the first one. I was just kind of like nodding off. I was honestly bored. So no, not gonna do it. But that says a lot for me to say that anyone should watch Dexter New Blood because it's good stuff. Interesting. The reason I wanted to cover Dexter today is because it's one of the most influential serial killer properties that I really love to watch and read, and it's an influence on the serial killer in my story. It's not the only influence, but it's one of them. And I just wanted to pay a little homage to Dexter and give it a little credit for kicking ass in its new final season. And yeah, man, just give love to a show that I loved for a long time and then was really mad at for a while, and now I'm kind of happy with it. And yeah, all right. I think I'm going to sign off, guys. Email me if you want to talk about anything. If you need to book me for what's it called, for a trailer of any kind. Come back next Sunday, 4 p.m. I'm going to be doing a hype up episode for Livestream Sunday Season 4. We're going to talk about who the guests are. We're going to explore their online platforms a little bit, and kind of internet stalk them and see what everybody's up to and who they all are, and learn a little bit more about them so we can get excited for Season 4. We're going to go one by one through the whole season and just check in on everybody online and see what they got going on. We're going to hype up Season 4 next week. And then Season 4 starts, and it's 15 straight weeks of just awesome stuff. I even added a bonus episode that I haven't announced yet, so keep your eye out for that. All right, y'all. This was great. This was fun. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody else. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Visit my Patreon if you want to get early access to the Breaking Bad videos that I do, or if you want exclusive access to the full-length versions of those videos, or if you just want to give $1 and, vote on some polls. You can do that too. All right, guys. We out. I don't think I have an outro video. Let's see what this one is. I don't even remember what this is. Let's find out. Bye, guys.